any team that they have roll over and play dead.
Well, I got to tell you,
they come to play this game.
He sold me a bill of goods in the interview, and before we did the interview, because he acted as though he was very, very worried about Knightstown, and I'm not so sure that I didn't fall hook, line, and sinker for that, because Tri has come very well prepared. They show no remnants of last week's loss to Hagerstown, and that wasn't just a simple loss. Knightstown Tri got thumped pretty well. And, of course, they went over to Hagerstown. It was Hagerstown's homecoming. It was 38-8. And Tri came away with their first loss on the night, while Knightstown, on the other hand, was up at Shenandoah having things pretty much their way. And they came away with their 6th win of the season, winning 49-0.
Well, you know as well as I do, Coach Gipe has been there too many years to have anything but tough football, win, lose, or draw. So he is not going to, he wouldn't be still at the Tri-High Confounds if it was anything other than a good coaching deal.
You know, as much rivalry and bad blood, as some people say, are between these two teams, both of the coaches will always give the other team credit, because Coach Don Willard says Tri is a very good football team, and Coach Dennis Gipe returned the favor to Knightstown.
Well, they really are. Both teams are playing well here this evening. Sure, there have been some mistakes made both ways, but that's high school football. But you always know, and you feel it even if you don't have kids in school. When these two teams meet, whether it's football, basketball, dominoes, or whatever, you know that they're going to really be tough.
Dominoes, that's a team I haven't heard of in a while.
Well,
the domino team.
New.
Well, when one falls, they all fall,
That's right.
I like that. I like that team. Well, Knightstown's going to get the football to start the third quarter of action, and that has been their game plan. Let's come out, score in the third, and get this thing rolling, and we will see if they can do that, or if Tri-High can hold and clamp down on the defensive side of things. Knightstown will go back to receive. Craig Ritchie will do the honors along with Ian Hayes and Ryan Johnson. And for Tri-High, teeing the football up now will be number 55, Michael Martin.
You know, the neat thing, look out there, too, that Knightstown secondary, if you will. Some fleet of foots out there. Collin, Crawford, Brooks. So if it's a short catch also, we're going to pick that ball up and go with it, because we have actually got 6 guys back there, counting the last 2 rows, that can really fly if they get their hands on the football. Well, ladies and gentlemen, this great rivalry about to get underway for the second half, as there goes the kick. It is high over to the right side of the field to Ian Hayes, who starts right, cuts back left, and is brought down at about the 32-yard line of the Knightstown Panthers. So Ian Hayes on a nice run back for the Panthers begins this second half, as Ian gets up just a little slow, but looks like he shook it off and headed back to the huddle.
Took a pretty good pop from number 56, Thad Wright. And as you said, Ian, just a little bit slow of getting up. Looked like he might have got popped on the right arm, hit right on the forearm with the helmet, but he's back into the huddle and ready to go for Knightstown.
So, Eric Scheiman getting ready to get things underway here at the Knightstown 32, as both the defense and the offense go set and is ready for action here. Scheiman back, handing off to the first man through, and is brought down immediately at the line. Drew Crawford on the carry, hit by Thad Wright right at the line of scrimmage, and is stopped dead in his tracks. So the Tri-High Titans are certainly coming out to play this second half.
That was kind of a misdirection handoff. Looked like it was very slow in materializing. Crawford not at full speed when he hit the line of scrimmage, and it kind of slowed him up and allowed Wright to grab him.
So now the Knightstown team with a 2nd and 9 situation that they're showing here on the clock now, getting ready to face them with 11:20 left to play. Scheiman on a handoff to Ryan Johnson, taking it over the right side, straight up the middle, and making a nice pickup before being stopped by Adam Hollers for the Tri-High Titans. But Ryan Johnson able to carry that ball to the 39-yard line of the Knightstown Panthers, as we have a 3rd and what looks to be like 4 or 5 situation out there facing the Knightstown Panthers on this particular play, with 10:52 left to play here in the third quarter. The score, Knightstown 14, Tri-High 7. Scheiman on a long count now from center. The snap is made. The handoff to the second man through Ryan Johnson, digging, and picking up the first down for the Knightstown Panthers. And also the ball will be placed at the 46.5-yard line. A 7-yard carry for Ryan Johnson of the Knightstown Panthers.
Ryan Johnson running very good off left tackle. And Knightstown starting to move the football. And that's exactly what Coach Don Willard and staff want them to do. First and 10, I'm sorry.
10:29 and counting on the clock in this third quarter of action as Eric Scheinman again calling the count. The handoff to the second man through again, Ryan Johnson. Slashing, cutting, and running forward there for a nice pickup. Flags flying everywhere on the field, and it looks like we will be picking up a first down. Now we have a flag thrown towards the Knightstown unit as we are trying to get everyone settled down and back into the game. Tempers flaring a little bit. At the moment, the ball is laying at the 48-yard line of Tri-High.
Well, it picked up at least 4 yards on the carry, but it looked like Ian Hayes got shoved from the back. I couldn't see the full altercation, but it looked like he got nailed from behind, and here's the call as the referee now talks, and they're going to point it out. Drew Crawford trying to mediate here. Personal foul, Tri-High. Unsportsmanlike conduct, Knightstown. And we will see which one they're going to mark off as Crawford helps the officials pick up the flag.
So Drew Crawford going back to the huddle now as the officials getting ready to march the ball off, and for the moment they are facing towards Tri-High, and they're going that way either first or last, but they are headed towards the Tri-High players to march the ball off with 10:15 left to play here in the third quarter. Again, Knightstown up 14-7. Now the ball's been placed back down on the ground, so I'm not sure what's going on.
Well, they're giving an explanation to Coach Dennis Gipe on the far side of the field. The officials are going to wait till everybody confers, make sure that they got this one marked off exactly how it's supposed to be, but Tri's backing up. An obvious personal foul as Hayes was nailed from the back, but I think where the unsportsmanlike conduct came in is he retaliated because he didn't appreciate the gesture.
Both teams are far wide away from the football as if it's going to come to them, but the first very healthy mark-off is been placed against the Tri-High Titans, and now they're marching the ball back toward the Knightstown Panthers.
Well, they marked 15 off for Tri. Well, that was a wasted effort. 15 against Tri, 15 against Knightstown, so why didn't they say offsetting penalties and let it go?
And now we have what's termed as a first down, Knightstown, and now we have an official's timeout because Coach Willard wants to talk.
Well, he needs an explanation. He's saying that is not right, and I agree. Why would you mark 15 yards off one way, then pick the ball up and come back 15 more yards? Coach Willard says that's not right, but hey, I've seen it all. And what's he say, his 30,000th year of coaching?
That's right. Well, nevertheless, Coach Willard now talking with Eric Scheinman, getting this series set up and ready to go. We have a 1st and 10 situation for the Knightstown Panthers. The ball is at the 48.5-yard line of the Tri-High Titans as with 10:15 left to play in this third quarter, Knightstown getting ready to hopefully advance a drive here towards that Titan territory.
The Cats have been penalized 4 times for 50 yards tonight, and if they can keep it around that number, that's not too bad.
No, it isn't, as we have Richie ride white and Plank wide left. In the backfield, we have Crawford and Johnson as Scheinman getting ready to call the signals. There goes Richie moving to the left, and Drew Crawford barreling ahead downfield, picking up valuable, wonderful yardage. Flags fly again, but I don't think this time it's against the Knightstown Panthers. Drew Crawford just running headstrong, headlong into that Titan defense. An 18-yard pickup for the fabulous running back for the Knightstown Panthers, Drew Crawford.
Now, this is going to be Tri's demise if they're not careful. They're letting their emotions get the best of them right now. That's 2 personal fouls back-to-back, and now Tri is starting to feel a little bit of pressure, it appears, as the officials will mark the ball down all the way inside the 20, down to the 17-yard line.
Well, that's absolutely right, and those are the type things in years past that have haunted Knightstown, the frustration, and here we see it with a young Tri-High team, and rightfully so. They're learning this game and learning it very well from their Coach Dennis Gipe and his coaching staff, but you get frustrated at situations like this. So Scheinman calling the signals, handing the ball off to Ryan Johnson, who is hit immediately at the line of scrimmage, stood up and just finally stopped dead in his tracks and then let go. Thad Wright in on the stop initially for the Tri-High Titans, just was able to stop Johnson for a 2-yard gain, and With 9:20 left to play here and the clock ticking down in this third quarter, Knightstown still up 14-7, facing a 2nd and 8 situation here against these Tri-High Titans. The ball.
I'm going to say Ryan Johnson's yards have been very, very tough to come by tonight.
No, they haven't been those big gainers that he's broken every once in a while, but at least he's getting them in sets of 2s and 3s. The ball at the 15-yard line now as Shyman calling the signals. The snap is made. The handoff to Johnson again. Breaks tackle, takes off down the right side and is caught again, but a nice, fine run by Ryan Johnson that time as he hit the line of scrimmage and was hit immediately, rolled to his left and was able to pick up 2 to 3 more yards.
Good spin move by Ryan Johnson. He picks up 3 more on the rush, but I'll tell you what, I'm impressed with this Thad Wright. He is 6 foot, 185 pounds, and the only bad thing about it is he's going to be missed next year because he's a senior, but he is coming from the right side of the line, making tackles down the left side of the line, and that either means that he's quicker than everybody on the left side or the left side's not doing their job.
Well, you know, we were talking there at halftime, even though this Tri-High line is huge, these kids are pretty quick. They've been able to get in there and really make some stops on Knightstown that surprised me seeing what Knightstown's done in the past.
Well, Coach Gipe thought Knightstown was a lot quicker, but that doesn't seem to be the case.
So Eric Shyman now with the ball at approximately the 12, 13-yard line, receives the ball, rolling to his left for a pass, looking out into the flat. There's a flag thrown in that area. Shyman still on the run, and he runs the ball out of bounds, but we do have a flag. We have 2 flags on the field. We'll have to see what the call is going to be.
I have no idea. I didn't see it.
We have one almost back at the line of scrimmage, and then
going to go against Knightstown. My guess is a clip. Either a clip or a hold, because it looked when Shyman rolled left, he had Plank, the tight end, out in the flat, but he just couldn't throw the ball back to his right as he was going left, so he tucked it up, turned it up, and picked up 3 or 4 yards, but the penalty is going to go against Knightstown definitely.
Have a holding call against the Knightstown Panthers. 7:59 left to play in this third quarter. Knightstown up 14-7, going to be facing a 3rd and very long, looks like about a 3rd 15 as the holding penalty ate them up there. Their line trying to give Shyman a chance to get around the left side, and somebody grabbed a hold in there and held on.
That's their 2nd penalty here in the third quarter for 30 yards, just here in the 3rd alone.
Craig Ritchie wide right now. We have Crawford and Johnson in the backfield split apart as Shyman calling the signal. Shyman back looking to his right, hard to pass now, throwing left to Johnson out into the flat, and he dropped the ball and was hit.
Brian Clemens leveled Ryan Johnson. Johnson looked like he might have tried to run before he caught it. So that's going to bring up a 4th and long for Knightstown. Nice defensive stance by Tri-High after they were pushed deep into their own territory. So Knightstown faced with another big decision here. The ball sits on about the 24.5, almost the 25-yard line. So Shyman's got the play, and Coach Willard's thinking probably is if we don't get the first down here or at least score, this is probably as good as a punt.
Yeah, it's fine field position really for the Knightstown Panthers, and the only other option they would have would be to angle kick it to the sidelines to try to get it out of bounds, so they're going for it. With a 4th and 17 situation, Shyman back looking to his right, making the pass now out into the flat, man wide open. We have a touchdown, Knightstown to Craig Ritchie.
24 yards.
No flags on the field, so Shyman to Ritchie for 24 yards. Just a super great pass play by this Knightstown Panther team.
Well, the defender thought he had the interception, or at least the deflection, and Craig Ritchie was there for his 2nd score on the night. Now Knightstown threatening to blow this one wide open. They lead 20-7.
7:53 left to play in this third quarter, and Knightstown looking good as they have all year, coming to play again tonight. It just seems to me like that these guys being in the shape that they're in wears a team down, and I'm sorry. I know you get tired of hearing that as we are awaiting the snap, and there it is. The ball's down. The kick is up by Josh Blank, and it looks like it's good. So the Knightstown Panthers go up 21-7 with 7:53 left to play in the third quarter. Craig Ritchie, and it looks like it's good. So the Knightstown Panthers go up 21-7 with 7:53 left to play in the third quarter.
Craig Ritchie having a whale of a night as he pulls that one in from 24 yards out. As we said, his first touchdown pass was a 20-yarder from Shyman. And now Ritchie pulls in a 24-yarder to give Knightstown a 21-7 lead. And you got to feel bad for the safety, because he was between Scheinman and Ritchie, and he was only about a step and a half away from Craig Ritchie, but Scheinman had just enough loft on the football to get it over the outstretched arms, and Ritchie pulls it in, and Knightstown extends that lead.
Scheinman really showing his ability in the passing department these last two games, and really starting to shine out there as the Knightstown quarterback, able to fake that ball and hand it off to those great running backs, and now coming into his own this year with this passing game that he's got, really makes us a hard-to-control football team. 7:53 left to play in this third quarter as Big Kyle Rhodes gets ready to put a boot into it. There's the kick. It's a squibbler going through the first line of defense, going all the way to the back, and now the ball carrier picks it up, tries to head upfield, and is hit.
John hit
immediately.
Craig Ritchie nailed him.
Craig Ritchie really drilling John Hinton there as the ball is going to be placed down at about the 24.5-yard line of the Tri-High Titans, and they will take over a 1st and 10 situation.
Boy, I feel bad for Tri. They played such good defense on that stance, and just to have it slip through your hands or over the fingertips has to be frustrating, but we'll see if Coach Dennis Gipe's troops can pull up the bootstraps and kick this thing into high gear again.
7:48 left to play here in this third quarter, 21-7. As the Knightstown Panthers are starting to advance the football, as Tri-High taking it on an option play there as Clint Thompson makes a handoff to number 47, Chad Beaver of the Tri-High Titans, and Chad picks up about a yard on that play. It'll be a 2nd and 9, 2nd and 8 situation.
He also is picking up his teeth as Jason Chapman rattled him from the back, took him down after a pickup of maybe 1.5.
And again this year, as we've alluded to in the past few games, this Knightstown team, they bring you down, they don't dance in your face, they just get up and go back to the huddle and get ready for the next play. These guys are really playing gentleman football this year. Thompson on a nice fake to his left, rolls out to the right, makes a pass out into the flat, and we had excellent pass play coverage that time by Craig Ritchie. Craig Ritchie just playing the shadow on the intended receiver for Tri-High, and that's the type of pass coverage you need.
Well, there's a size differential again. It's been Hayes and Ritchie all night long on Dusty Phelps. Phelps has hauled a couple of passes in, but that time Craig Ritchie was right in his shadow and within a step's reach and hit Phelps by the time the ball got there. On the incompletion, brings up a 3rd and 9 for the Titans.
Dusty Phelps at 6'4" should be an easy target, but if you really get the pressure on these kids, why, it seems to rattle them a little bit. Thompson throwing quickly out into the right flat, and it is incomplete to the intended receiver out there, Brandon Boyd, as on the pass coverage that time, Ian Hayes sticking pretty close to Boyd.
Well, I'll tell you what, Coach Dennis Gipe wanted pass interference, and I'm not so sure he didn't have a call. It looked like Hayes might have tripped him, but officials didn't see it, so they let it fly. So Knightstown's going to get the football back with 7 minutes remaining in the third quarter. As you can probably hear the cowbells, and they are running amok here in the stands.
Knightstown taking over the game here as Justin Cox gets ready to kick for the Tri-High Titans. Back deep for Knightstown, I believe we have Ian Hayes and Craig Ritchie. The left-footed kicker gets it up to Ian Hayes, takes it on the left side of the field, and really starts to run now as he goes over 2 or 3 of the Tri-High players, but it looks like we may have a clipping call back here at the 50-yard line.
Unfortunately, that one was right smack out in the middle of nowhere in front of everybody. Landon Collop plowed into the defender right in the back, and that was something that you could hear the groan from the crowd. That was an obvious clip, and Collop knew it as soon as he did it, but he was trying to spring Hayes. Hayes had a good return of about 27 yards, but it's going to be nullified because Collop, unfortunately, just a little over anxious that time.
So the Knightstown players are going to be taking over the football at the 35-yard line after that clipping penalty, their own 35-yard line with 6:50 left to play here in this third quarter. Knightstown up 21-7.
Well, Knightstown again very guilty of a penalty. That's going to be a big one, 15 yards. That's 3 for 45.
Knightstown getting hurt a little bit in this penalty department, but at least these penalties that they have received so far, with the exception of the personal fouls, I don't believe have been intentional. Just like the clip call there, Collip running and just flat ran into the back of the defender from Tri-High and didn't even see he was there as he was headed towards the football.
Well, as we said, he was trying to spring Hayes, and Hayes was off to the races around the left end. But Collip, again, the official was probably 6 yards off the play, right in front of the official, and Landon knew it as soon as he did it. So as we said, that's the third penalty here in the third quarter for Knightstown. They've got 3 for 45 yards, and on the night they are 6 for 80 yards, 6 for 80 yards already. And how quickly that 30-yard total can change, huh?
Well, that's absolutely right, as the Knightstown players take a breather out there with this timeout that's been called, and so did the Tri-High Titans. 6:50 left to play in this third quarter. Knightstown up 21-7 as Knightstown will be taking this football over, as we said just a few seconds ago, on their 35-yard line with a 1st and 10 situation and a chance to march it down against these Tri-High Titans if they can get their game plan rolling again here. Shyman checking out that defensive setup that Tri-High is into as he starts to call signals, hands the ball off to Ryan Johnson going around the left side, and Ryan maybe picks up a yard and a half there as he is immediately hit as he turns the ball off of the line of scrimmage by Mark Hayworth. Mark Hayworth making a nice tackle out there on Ryan Johnson.
Well, Johnson starting to chip away and total some ground numbers up, not in very big chunks. His largest run from scrimmage tonight has been 7 yards.
Well, Ryan Johnson really just getting them by bits and pieces, but he is getting them as the Knightstown offensive unit takes over the ball on about the 37-yard line again, and back is Shyman to pass. The pass is complete, right dead up the center to about the 45-yard line, as Knightstown now starting to move the ball just a little more handily against these Tri-High Titans. And I think, again, Josh Plank on a nice reception there by Knightstown as they pick up the first down and a 8-yard reception. So Knightstown, with that being in shape going for them, I do believe this year, starts to chip away at another team after a while, and it's just too much to contend with. The shape these kids are in is absolutely fantastic, and they play at you the third and fourth quarter just like they did the first play of the first quarter. Shyman on the pitch out to the right to Drew Crawford as he cuts and slices his way forward to the 47-yard line of the Tri-High Titans. Drew Crawford running a nice pattern that time and picking up approximately 8 yards on the carry is brought down by Justin Cox for the Tri-High Titans.
Good run by Crawford. That's only the third time this quarter that he's touched the football.
5:10 left to play in this third quarter. Knightstown up 21-7 with a second and third situation facing them as they start to move this ball and move it handily in the running game against the Tri-High Titans. There's a pitch back to Ryan Johnson as he comes around the right side, has the first down, is going for more, digging, and is finally brought down at the 35-yard line of the Tri-High Titans. So Ryan Johnson, running with great agility and ability as he has all season, picks up another first down for the Knightstown Panthers.
No doubt, Ryan Johnson turned on the speed. Once he turned the corner, got 13 yards, more than enough for the first down, and the drive will continue for the Panthers. Try starting to look a little bit weathered on the left side of the line. I'm looking at number 27, Adam Hollers, and he has his hands on his knees and not exactly quite sure what's going on, but he does know that Knightstown is starting to move the football.
4:29 left to play as the clock's still ticking down here in this third quarter as Eric Shyman getting set now with his team, makes the handoff to Ian Hayes going around the right side. Ian Hayes digging for another almost 5-yard pickup there as the Knightstown offensive unit is starting to roll here at the Knightstown High School football field.
Hayes picks up 6 yards on a very determined run, and it looks as though we are being invaded by a chopper from Channel 13.
The ball is at the 27-yard line of Tri-High. as the Knightstown Panthers are playing the football game that they have played all year, playing like gentlemen out there and just playing hard-nosed, rock'em sock'em football. So here we go. We have Ian Hayes going into motion to the left as Eric Scheinman hands off to Ryan Johnson, going straight up the middle for another pickup of 3 to 4 yards there for Ryan Johnson, as we have the first down call again, as Thad Wright brings down Ryan Johnson for the Tri-High Titans, but not until Ryan has picked up the first down. 4:07 left to play here in the third quarter. Knightstown up 21-7 as they continue to march the ball down the field towards that goal line of the Tri-High Titans. Eric Scheinman now getting his offensive unit set, checking that defensive setup that Tri-High has against him, calling the signals, makes the handoff to the first man through there, and he is stopped immediately at the line. Tri-High putting the skids on that particular run play by the Knightstown Panthers as Drew Crawford runs into a slew of Tri-High Titans led by Adam Hollins.
Well, Knightstown very content to run the football, but if you look at the front line, the line, they now have their hands on their knees. So it looks like Tri might be getting just a little bit weathered, and the crowd has finally figured out that Channel 13 is here, and they think they're going to be on TV, so that has brought an excitement, or added excitement, to an already exciting crowd. And there was a flag on the play, so Knightstown's going to have a penalty marked off against them on a hold.
So with 3:43 left to play here in this third quarter of action, Knightstown up 21-7 and getting ready once again here on what looks to be like a first and 17 maybe, or something like that. Long yardage as back comes Scheinman handing off to Ryan Johnson, who takes that ball straight up the field. We had a fumble, but Knightstown recovers. Falling on that football is none other than Kyle Rhodes protecting it for the Knightstown Panthers.
They're going to say the ground caused the fumble. Good heads-up run by Johnson. He got back what looks to be about 11 yards, but it's still going to be way short of the first down, so it's going to bring up second and 11. And that time, Tri-High had good penetration, but they ran past Johnson as he spurted on a delayed handoff, almost a draw.
Well, even though we think Tri-High is a little bit tired, you don't want to count these kids down and out yet. They're still playing with a lot of heart out there. 2:47 left to play in this third quarter as Eric Scheinman makes the call and going dead ahead up center and stopped. It was Ryan Johnson, I believe, again on the carry of the football, as the ball is going to be placed at the Tri-High 21-yard line as we have a time. No, the clock is still running here. I thought there was a timeout being called, but it is at 2:20 in this third quarter and still counting down. Knightstown up 21-7 as Eric Scheinman and his offensive unit marching that ball down the field. We have Craig Ritchie wide to the right. We have Drew Crawford and Ryan Johnson split in the backfield as Scheinman starts to call the signals again. Ian Hayes going in motion to the left, fake to the right. Handoff to Drew Crawford going up center as he carries 2-3 Tri-High Titans ahead with him, and Drew Crawford just digging and snarling for all the yardage that he can pick up.
Well, that shows excellent leg strength by Drew Crawford. Adam Hollers had him around the leg. Crawford managed to drag him for 7 more yards, and that brings up a 4th and about 2 for Knightstown. It could be a long 1, depending upon the spot. I guess they'll say 1, but Knightstown obviously is going to go for this one.
Clock still winding down here, 1:28 and counting left to play here in this third quarter as Knightstown still up 21-7 and under a lot of ball control time here, which does not help the Tri-High Titans. They haven't got their hands on that ball. They sure can't score as Eric Scheinman calls the signals. Hands off to Drew Crawford again. We have a fumble as in coming hard, and I think covering that fumble was Ritchie.
Now, I think Ian Hayes came back and got it.
Excuse me, Ian Hayes
coming
in wide from the right. But anyway, the ball being covered, we believe, by the Knightstown team.
Might have been enough for a first down. We'll wait to see where they spot the football, but if that's the case, it went far enough. And now the officials are going to say, my timeout. They're going to discuss this one. But it was Craig Ritchie that fell on the fumble as he dove, and they're going to bring the chains in for a very close measurement. So what looked to be a fumble by Crawford may have turned out to be a first down for Knightstown and Craig Ritchie.
So the Knightstown football team getting a measurement here with 1:08 left to play in this third quarter to see if we do have enough for the first down as the chains are being stretched now, and it is taken over by the Tri-High Titans with 1:08 left to play here in the third quarter. So very, very close down there from our vantage point, it looked like, but still a Tri-High Titan football with 1:08 left to play in the third quarter, and Knightstown up 21-7.
Give very good credit to Tri-High's defense as they had a good stance that time. Now we'll see if the offense can dig themselves out of a huge hole. The ball is down on the 18-yard line of the Tri-High Titans, and they have only sustained one good drive all night long to get their 7 points on a nice pass from Thompson to Phelps, 9 yards, with 3:57 to play in the first half.
So now we'll see what this defensive unit for Knightstown can do as Thompson trying to get things set, rolling to his right, passing out into the flat area, and we have a flag over on that side as the pass was intended for Brandon Boyd. Ian Hayes way far away from the coverage there, but we still had a flag, so we'll have to wait and see what this call was.
They're calling for a hold, and they do. They're going to say Ian Hayes grabbed him and held him, interfered with his progress. So that's another 15-yard penalty, and all of a sudden penalties really starting to hurt Knightstown.
The Knightstown team just really playing too far off of those wide receivers, and as we know that they can get on them, as Richie was there earlier, right in the face of the receivers, but you can't give these guys any room or they're going to catch that ball on you. So we have got the football placed at the 24.5-yard line of Tri-High as Thompson calling the signals again, hands off to the first man through on the right, and he is stopped dead in his tracks by the Knightstown defensive unit.
Give credit to Ben Brooks along with Jason Chapman. Also in on the stop, number 75, name we haven't called much tonight, Big Jim Carmichael, and that's Carmichael's first tackle on the night.
Clock is down to 43 and ticking in this third quarter with Knightstown up 21-7. A 2nd and 11 or 10.5 situation facing those Tri-High Titans as Thompson ducks down, makes that call, rolls to his right on a keeper, is hit by Drew Crawford and brought down at the line of scrimmage again, or maybe for another half-yard loss. But anyway, Drew Crawford in hard and heavy on the stop that time for Knightstown.
Knightstown playing with a little bit more pizzazz right now than they have had in the first couple of quarters, as they can smell this thing as the clock's going to expire, and that's going to round out the third quarter of action. So Knightstown's going to take a 21-7 lead as we head into quarter number 4. That'll do it. So number 3 is in the books. We are 1 quarter away, and here comes the Gray Auto Broker footballs, and we'll tell you all about that in just a minute. Let's take a 1-minute timeout. You're listening to Panther Football on Young Country 90.7 FM.
Turn the tape over for the fourth quarter.
Little boy up here, Mike York, wants a football so bad to come in the window. He doesn't have time to talk right now. But the Knightstown defensive unit ready to go into action again as Thompson comes back and is sacked in his tracks by Ben Brooks. A terrific super hit by Ben Brooks to cause a loss of yardage for the Tri-High Titans.
Nobody touched Ben Brooks. He was wide open, and nobody even picked him up. So unassisted, he gets a sack, brings up a 4th and 15. And here's a case where Tri is running out of clock time, so they're going to have to make a quick decision here. Is it going to go for it, or it's going to be a punt? And with this much of a difference, I guess they're going to put the ball up in the air.
11:23 left to play in this football contest between Tri-High and Knightstown. And here we go. There's a snap. It was high, but he gets the kick away. Almost blocked that time by Josh Plank. Josh Plank really making a charge. Then Richie picking it up at the last second, trying to advance the football, is stopped at about the 34-yard line. So Knightstown will take over the football at the 34.5-yard line.
Josh Plank got a hand on that football, deflected that football. The official immediately signaled that it was partially blocked. So Plank was in the backfield, got a finger or more on it, and deflected the football. So Knightstown has got excellent field position at the Tri-High 34-yard line.
So Knightstown now the conditioning of this team starting to show, I believe, as it has all year. When they can just keep taking it to you the way these guys do, you know that you're in trouble. As Eric Scheinman starts to call the signals again. Wide left, we have Craig Ritchie. As Scheinman looks left, throws out into the flat into Ritchie's territory. But the ball, I believe, was intercepted by the Tri-High Titans, and it's intercepted by Brandon Boyd. If that stands up, a great job by Brandon Boyd there on the interception of that football. It was just thrown too long for Craig Ritchie.
Well, that time Eric Scheinman kind of hung one out to dry. Ritchie was not even within 2 to 3 yards of it, had to veer right, and Boyd was in a much better position to receive the football, and that's exactly what happened as he came down with the interception. So at the 10:59 mark, Knightstown gives the ball back to Try, and Try again, as we know, can be very explosive. They've got to contain Thompson. They've done a pretty good job tonight, but also in the backfield, you've got Carpenter you've got to watch.
10:59 left to play here. Knightstown up 21-7. First and 10 for those Tri-High Titans at their 10-yard line. Thompson comes up throwing out into the flat area. We have a man wide open. It's a one-on-one situation as Ryan Johnson finally runs over, gets a hand on him, and is helped out on the tackle by the Kyle Rhodes of Knightstown.
Well, that's one of those where he puts a good move on. Kind of lost Ryan Johnson momentarily, and Johnson caught up with him just enough to have some help arrive in that of Kyle Rhodes. So they get the first down, they'll move the chains, and just like that, Try has gained 10 yards on one pass, so they're wasting very little time.
Tri-High is in a quandary here with Thompson this evening. He just hasn't been able to get his passing game underway, as we know he's capable of, and that's to the luck of Knightstown as Thompson comes up throwing again, throwing long and hard out into this flat area. Has a man open, has a wonderful catch made by Brandon Boyd at about the 46-yard line of the Knightstown Panthers. A long, beautiful pass thrown that time by Clint Thompson.
32 yards from Thompson to Boyd, and that's what we talked about. In 2 plays, they've picked up 42 yards in a matter of about 40 seconds.
Well, boy, let me tell you, sports fans, Clint Thompson flat let that one go, and it was right on the money to Brandon Boyd out here in the open field. And if Boyd had been able to maintain his footing, he'd have picked up some more valuable yardage.
Nice diving catch by Boyd as he made an effort to catch the football, and that he did.
The ball is on the 45-yard line of Knightstown as they start to dig in now and see if they can hold these Tri-High Titans as Thompson calls the signals for Tri-High. Hands off to the first man through out there, Chad Beaver, and Beaver is brought down immediately just after picking up maybe a yard and a half. Ben Brooks in on the stop along with Jim Carmichael.
Kyle Rhodes got a trip as well, so Knightstown starting to swarm to the football. They're reacting as they have pretty much all game very, very well. Knightstown just can't let this one get out of hand because they've got this thing tucked away, but right now Try is making a valiant effort to get back down into Knightstown's defense.
9:34 left to play in this fourth quarter of action here. There's Thompson back looking to pass, and there is a great tackle by Kyle Rhodes. Kyle Rhodes out there also assisted by Josh Plank for a 5-yard loss against the Tri-High Titans, and man, did they eat up Thompson that time.
That's also Kyle Rhodes' 5th tackle on the night, so Knightstown's defense rising to the occasion that time, all the way back to the 49-yard line. Loss of 5, as you said, brings up a 3rd and long. And again, Clint Thompson very, very capable of putting the ball on the money after we just saw the 30-yard gain moments ago to Boyd.
There's that conditioning that we've talked about all year, and you can readily see it in Kyle Rhodes' swiftness and strength, all in one combination. Thompson falling back, looking to pass, passes out into the flat, over the middle, very short to the intended receiver, Brandon Boyd. So Ben Brooks got a hand and knocked Thompson's hand out of the passing motion. Thompson not having enough to get the ball to the intended receiver, so give Brooks the credit along with the whole defensive line for the Panthers. 8:42 left to play in this fourth quarter. Knightstown up 21-7 as the Knightstown Panthers playing the football that we have watched them play all season long, and we're glad that some of these new fans have come out tonight, not new fans, but here for the homecoming to see how great this Knightstown team can play. There's the snap for the kick. The kick is up, and a nice kick this time by the Tri-High Titans. Ian Hayes taking the ball over on about the 10-yard line. Tries to advance the ball forward and maybe gets it up to the 16-yard line. I can't tell for sure from this vantage point, but a tremendous kick there by the punter for Tri High.
Cox has got a great leg. He's a left-footed punter, and that time he nails a good one. Tackling the play by Ham of the Tri High Titans. Crowd has subdued just a little bit. Let's see if Knightstown can give them something to wake them back up.
It sure hasn't depleted any. They're still standing way deep down at the fence line.
Estimated crowd is 3,100 people tonight.
8:30 left to play here in this fourth quarter. Knightstown up 21-7. There's the snap, and flags flying everywhere out on the field, both backfield at the line of scrimmage, all over the place.
Ryan Johnson, the ball carrier, ran right into Drew Crawford that time, but it's going to be motioned against Knightstown.
So we have Eric Scheiman coming over to confer with Coach Don Willard as the Knightstown Panthers getting buried a little bit into their own territory here on a penalty call with 8:26 left to play in the fourth quarter.
You know, Knightstown's going to watch this one marked off. There's 5. It'll go 5 yards. So Knightstown very fortunate that it's not more than that. But the problem is they're deep in their own territory, as you said. Ball sits just inside the 10 with 8:26 to play and a 21-7 Panther lead.
So the Tri High Titans, as we told you earlier, are not the type team that's going to roll up and die on you no matter what the situation is. And they're out there playing now just with the same intensity that they've played from the opening gun. As at 8:13, Knightstown here in this fourth quarter is trying to advance that ball forward. There we have a nice run by one of the backs. I believe it's Drew Crawford again on the carry for the Panthers, picking up some very valuable yardage going over the right side.
Adam Hollers in on the tackle along with a couple of others for Tri. And Crawford picks up 5 tough yards. That's the first time he's carried the ball here in the fourth quarter.
Looks like the ball's at about the 19.5, almost 20-yard line of the Knightstown Panthers as they are facing a 2nd and 5 situation here with 7:39 left to play in this quarter. As they're bringing that offense up with Ian Hayes going into motion. There's a handoff to the first back through, Drew Crawford over the right side, as Drew Crawford gets almost another 2.5, 3 yards on the play. Looks like we're going to be facing a 3rd and 1 situation here for the Panthers.
Thad Wright on the stop once again, and I am so impressed with him. He is all over the football field. Looks like he's a one-man tackling team out there for the Titans.
Well, Knightstown playing good ball here this evening, also being eaten up by some penalties, but still able to play good ball against these Tri High Titans, who we knew would come in here wanting a game. And Scheiman on the keeper himself, going dead up center, breaking it open, could go all the way, but he is finally caught and brought down at about the 34-yard line. Great call by Eric Scheiman, as he has just broken into the ranks of the running backs again. 42-yard pickup by Eric Scheiman as he comes over to Coach Willard, receives a high five from Coach, and the next series of plays as he heads back out.
Eric Scheiman was pumping, buddy. 42 yards, that's the longest he's run since summer camp. And that was a quick count. Caught Tri sleeping just a little bit on a quarterback sneak, and he was off to the races.
Oh, he was gone. Just another step or two, and he would have been in for the touchdown. So now the Knightstown Panthers deep into the Tri High Titan territory again. The ball at about the 35-yard line. Scheiman on the handoff to Ryan Johnson, I believe, the 2nd man through, being brought down by Brad Taylor out there for the Tri High Titans, as that sets up a 2nd and looks like about 7 or 6 situation for the Panthers, with 6:03 left to play here in this fourth quarter of action. And what a run by
Eric Scheiman. I thought for a moment he was going to pull away, but good pursuit by Tri. They didn't give up, and Scheiman was running as fast as he could.
Well, you can rest assured he was running as fast as he could, because he could hear the footsteps. Eric Scheiman calling those signals again with that ball at about the 34-yard line. Handing off to the 2nd man through. We have flags in the backfield, and I'm sure this is going to be a procedure call against the Knightstown Panther.
Handoff went to Ian Hayes, and he was stopped by Wright again, but that one's going to be whistled. As you said, flags are flying.
So, maybe a little bit of the shakes now, knowing that you may have this game handily underway and starting to play a little recklessly out there. The Knightstown Panthers having the ball marched off against them to about their 43-yard line, of the Titans.
It's a 37 of try.
Or excuse me, 37 of try. I'm sorry.
That's all right. I'm still trying to figure out how Eric ran that far. I've dreamed about that.
5:30 left to play here in the fourth quarter. Knightstown up 21-7 as the conditioning of the Knightstown Panthers has really started to show late in the second quarter and onward into this football game as Shyman calls the signals out there. The snap is made. The handoff on a broken play almost to Ian Hayes coming around the left side. Picks up a couple of blockers, picks up some extra yardage, and gets the ball down to the 25-yard line. And possibly a first down again for those Knightstown Panthers. It's going to be very close out there as it looks like they're going to place it just short of the first down. The ball at about the 26-yard line of Knightstown, and they need 1 yard, it looks like, for the first down.
Good end around by Ian Hayes, kept his balance and came up a yard short, but excellent open field running. He had 2 blockers out in front of him, and Hayes was not to be denied.
Going wide right this time, Craig Ritchie set in just a little closer. Ian Hayes back in the I formation. We have Crawford and Johnson. As the snap is made, ball handed off to the first man through. Drew Crawford coming around the left side, breaking 2, 3 tackles, taking that ball down to almost the 10-yard line of the Tri-High Titans. Another great run by Drew Crawford. Another great play by the Knightstown Panthers. Looks like a pickup.
Did you understand that?
No, I did.
Okay, 16-yard pickup by Crawford. I kind of got my hooked-on fingers messed up there.
16-yard run by Drew Crawford. A great run that time as the Knightstown Panthers now really wearing on the Tri-High defense as Knightstown has had long periods of control of that football this evening, and that really takes its toll against you. Wide right again, we have Craig Ritchie, I believe, as Eric Shyman is calling the signals. Handoff is to the second man through, Ryan Johnson, as he digs. Touchdown, Ryan Johnson. Ryan Johnson just running a great straight up over the left side route and taking the ball in for a touchdown for the Knightstown Panthers.
Well, I'll tell you what, the hole was there for Ryan Johnson, but he got those 10 yards basically on his own. Ryan Johnson just kept chugging, and he scores from 10 yards out with 3:48 to play.
That score is 27-7 now, awaiting the extra point attempt here for the Knightstown Panthers as they are this year handily taking it to Tri-High for the moment. Next year could be an entire different story as these teams go at it at an almost even record. The snap is made. Shyman puts the ball down. The kick is up by Josh Plank, and it is good. So the Knightstown Panthers up 28-7 with 3:48 left to play in the fourth quarter, and Mike York looks like a great night for Knightstown.
Well, it does. The Tri-High doesn't have anything to hang their heads about. They are a very fine football team. But right now, Knightstown has got the upper hand, and again, conditioning could play very, very much into this game as Knightstown had a good drive. That was one of the better-looking drives that they've had. That looked more like Knightstown football because of the sustained play, 10, 12, 13 yards at a clip, compared to the 2, 3, and 4 that Knightstown was limited to by the good defense of Tri-High in the first half.
Well, the other thing of it, too, you know, this year we've got the upperclassmen. We've got the guys who have played together, and we were talking before the game. Next year, Tri-High's got that situation, so we'll just have to wait and see. These teams really go at it when they play, and they play well and play good football. As we're getting ready and for this kickoff here. There it goes back deep into the field. Justin Cox on the carry as he's trying to elude tacklers, but is finally brought down at about the 24-yard line of Tri-High.
Landon Collop, the first man down there, along with number 17, Garrett Guillaume. Good containment by the Knightstown special teams that time.
Knightstown playing super football here this evening, radio fans, with the greatness that they have played all year and not letting the psych and hype of playing a Tri-High take them down. They have just played each game this year, one game at a time, and have handily done so far.
Well, Knightstown owns the series 15-14, and if this one holds up, it'll be 16-14.
Clint Thompson calling the signals for Tri-High. Immediately calls timeout. Saw something he didn't like. So, with that, Clint Thompson's going to go over and talk with Coach Dennis Gipe.
With that, we will take a quick 30-second timeout. You're listening to exciting Knightstown Panther football on Young Country 90.7 FM. To 7 on homecoming 1997, and Knightstown has blown this thing open in the second half of action behind the running of Drew Crawford and Ryan Johnson and Ian Hayes. First half, it was basically Eric Scheinman to the air, but Knightstown not needing to throw much in the second half.
Knightstown getting set now with this defense as Thompson rolling back, looking to throw out into the flat, comes over dead center, and the intended receiver, Brandon Boyd, heard the footsteps out there of none other than Ryan Johnson, Landon Collop, and Kyle Rhodes, and could not hang on to the football.
And look down at Coach Don Willard. That's the first smile that I've seen all night long. You don't see him smile during a game too often, but that time I think I saw one.
Well, Coach Willard knew that no matter which team had the best record, when you come into this game, as we've talked about all evening against Tri-High and Knightstown, it's going to be a toughie and it's going to be hard to handle.
Well, Tri's going to do well in their sectional, no doubt.
Pass out into the flat area from Thompson, the intended receiver, Dusty Phelps, and it is overthrown. Out on the coverage, Kyle Rhodes out there along with Ian Hayes. So the Knightstown Panthers playing great football here this evening against the Tri-High Titans have a lead of 28-7 with 3:33 left to play here in this fourth quarter of action.
Actually, Tri-High's in a really good position as far as their sectional draw. I'm sure they'd like to get a second shot at Hagerstown, giving them their only blemish until tonight. But it's Hagerstown, LaPel, Cambridge City, Frankton, Westdale, Shenandoah, Union City.
Thompson going back again, looking to pass out in the flat, makes it complete and is hit extremely hard by Craig Ritchie. The pass was to Brandon Boyd, and boy, did Craig Ritchie put a tag on him.
Yes, he did.
But Boyd making a nice reception there and picking up the first down for the Tri-High Titans with the ball at the 35.5-yard line of the Titans.
You know, since the split, Knightstown goes to sectional 38 and Tri's in sectional 36. The only way these two teams could meet would be in a state final.
Well, that's absolutely right. And I know that Coach Dennis Gipe would love to have that happen. Thompson looking to pass out into the flat, finally gets the ball up and away, and there is pass interference against Knightstown, has to be. Was thrown out there to that big, tall, Dusty Phelps, and it was pretty well thrown ball by Thompson and was into the hand area of Phelps, but I'm sure that we're going to get tagged for pass interference.
We had two of the smaller guys, both Hayes and Ritchie, were back there, and Hayes is going to be the guilty party. He was the closest as Ritchie dove for the deflected football, but it didn't come down in Knightstown's favor as it was a pass interference, so they'll mark off 15 big ones against Knightstown.
Knightstown making a mistake there, but almost a have-to occasion. You got a guy the size of Phelps, and you're playing with the size of Hayes at 5'11 and Ritchie at 5'9. It's tough to handle those big trees. Thompson calling the signals again for the Tri-High Titans with the ball at the 50-yard line. Throws quickly out into the flat. Ball was intended for Brandon Boyd, and Brandon almost slid under it and caught it. Was not able to. A great effort there by Brandon Boyd. In on the coverage for Knightstown, we had Ryan Johnson, Drew Crawford. Also out there helping out Craig Ritchie on that side also.
But you know, even though Boyd was there and the pass was incomplete, Knightstown giving a little bit too much ground on that side.
I just have felt all year, you know, we've talked about all year, we give too much up on pass receivers. Hand off to the first man through. Nice run there by the Tri-High Titan out there. At the moment, Brent Carpenter on the carry for Tri-High. Finally runs into Ryan Johnson and Craig Ritchie, but not before picking up some nice yardage there. That time a pickup of 38, or the ball at the 38-yard line of Knightstown, pickup of 11 yards, and this Tri-High team still marching, still playing football, hard-nosed football, as only Coach Gipe would let them play at the 2:36 mark. Thompson back to pass, looking out into the flat, hits the intended receiver right in the hands, and he drops the ball.
That's the third one that Boyd has had in his hands and just couldn't pull in. And I don't know if he's taking his eye off the football or not, but that's number 3 that's hitting right square in the numbers.
Thompson had that ball exactly as Mike York said, right on the chest of Boyd, and he just flat dropped it.
Well, Knightstown getting a little bit of breather on the drop pass. Clock will stop at the 2:31 mark, so on the incomplete pass, try a 2nd and 10.
Thompson on the snap throws long out into the back flat area, and the ball well overthrown of the intended receiver and thrown out of bounds.
Intended for John Hinton, and I'll tell you what, that looked like he was going to run. He kept running, and the Knightstown defender, Ryan Johnson, stopped, and Hinton kept running, and it looked like he was going to run right under the football and make the catch.
Apparently Johnson saw that it was overthrown, but I thought, gulp.
He had a better vantage point than we did, because it looked like he had a chance to pick that one up.
So the Knightstown Panthers, with 2:25 left to play in this fourth quarter, taking it to the Tri-High Titans this evening with a 28-7 lead. We have a 3rd and 10 situation facing the Titans now as Thompson gets his offensive unit set for Tri-High, comes back pedaling fast, throws into a short flat pattern, and it is incomplete. So the pressure from the Knightstown defense really starting to wear on this Tri-High Titan offense. Robert Crow on the coverage for the Knightstown Panthers, along with Nick Roush out there.
Excellent pressure.
And here are some of those underclassmen that are going to be coming up and taking the place of these veterans out there, and they're playing very well.
Andy Hamilton back into the game as Josh Plank will take a breather. More than likely, he's seen his last action on the night, as Coach Don Willard trying to get some substitutes, some fresh legs in there possibly.
So Clint Thompson looking up and down his line and hoping he can break something over here, falls back to pass, makes a pass out into the flat area, and I believe again we had the hands-on play there of Ben Brooks getting into the action and into the face of Clint Thompson and breaking up a pass play.
You know, I don't understand this. I don't know if somebody has just missed Ben Brooks all night, or if he is that quick off the football, because he has spent more time, as we said, in the backfield than he has on the defensive side of the football.
Well, he absolutely has, and it seems like this isn't the first game that we've seen this either. Ben Brooks has that capability of getting in there and getting in there quick when it's needed, and on the big plays, a lot of those Knightstown players are there, and one of those Knightstown players usually is Ben Brooks. Shyman calling the signals now with the ball at the 37-yard line of Knightstown, handing off to the first man through, Drew Crawford, as Drew kicks, carries, then fumbles the football, and looks like we have a Tri-High takeover there.
Well, that's the 4th fumble. The crowd's wanting it to be called down, but Crawford just coughed it up. That's his 2nd on the night. And Knightstown's going to give the football right back to Tri with 2:07 to play.
Drew knows it also. You can tell that he knows that he coughed it up out there. He's very upset with himself at the moment. And Tri-High, as you said, is going to be taking over that ball again on the 48-yard line, and will make another attempt. But the way this Knightstown defensive unit's been playing, it's going to be tough to do. Thompson calling the signals, falling back, looking to his right, trying to make a pass. Now decides he's going to run it, and he gets hit. There's another fumble. Knightstown has the ball recovered again at the 45-yard line.
Nice play by Robert Crow as he caused the fumble right into the hands of the Panthers. And Crow came from the back. Give him the credit.
Kyle Rhodes making that recovery of the football, and the Knightstown offensive unit going to be taking over that football on their 45-yard line with 1:59 left to play here in the fourth quarter. Knightstown up 28-7. Don Snyder, those Panthers are taking it to him tonight, buddy. Eric Shyman coming up now, calling the signals. We have 3 backs set side by side in the backfield. Handoff was to the second man through. Fake me out also. Ryan Johnson on the carry of the football that time. Advances the ball about 5 yards up to the 50-yard line. And the Knightstown Panthers starting once again to advance that ball into Titan territory.
Well, the clock will continue to run down to 1:35 to play. It looks like Knightstown's going to go 7-0 on the season. Tri is going to fall to 5-2 if the score holds up.
I'll tell you what, we haven't lost much crowd either. Take a look out there, Mike. They're still deep into the fence, and all the stands are filled. Channel 13 still here from the TV station. They really like it also. Shyman handing off to the first man through. That time Drew Crawford again on the carry as Drew picks up 4 yards for the Knightstown Panthers. He is brought down out there by Chad Beaver. This defensive unit for the Tri-High Titans has played long and hard this evening, ladies and gentlemen, and these kids have got to be tired, but they're hanging in there and still making some nice tackles on this Knightstown offensive unit. But Knightstown able to eat away at a 2- and 3-yard clip and pick up first downs.
This is exactly what Coach Dennis Gipe was worried about, as Knightstown would start to flex its muscles, and it has here in the second half.
Shyman getting his back set in order as he wants things to run on this play. The snap comes. The first man through looks like Drew Crawford, I believe, on the carry again that time. Drew picks up about a yard.
Taken down by Thad Wright.
And that's another first down for the Knightstown Panthers as the ball is at the 45-yard line of the Tri-High Titans. So, as you can hear, these Knightstown fans have a lot to be happy about. 24 seconds left to play. The Knightstown team up 28-7, and they are playing great football here this evening as Eric Shyman brings them up one more time, goes down on that right knee, holds that ball up to the fans, pitches it back to the referee, and this one is history, folks. Knightstown beating Tri-High 28-7 here at Gray Auto Broker night.
And everybody's out on the field, and as you said, one of the largest crowds that we have seen in many moons. It's estimated to be in excess of 3,100 people, and there is standing room only on both sides of the Knightstown Stadium. Now, Tri-High has got a little room on theirs as they start to file out, but Knightstown's going to be here a while because it is cram-packed.
Knightstown playing a great football game tonight, as they have done all year. It's tough not to be proud of these kids because they don't do anything but get out there and play football. And we were really honestly worried about the outcome this evening because when these two face each other, you just never know. But Knightstown, once they got about halfway through that first quarter, settled down, started playing the football that they're capable of playing. Tri-High hung in there as long as they could. But I truly believe the conditioning of these Knightstown players and the great... I can't even think of the word I want to say.
Yeah, just pick one.
But just the great ability that they have this year to maintain a sanity when they play, so to speak, has really carried them far.
Well, unofficially tonight, Drew Crawford rushed the ball 17 times for 119 yards. And again, managing to go over 100 yards for I don't know how many consecutive games. Crawford having a very big night. Eric Shyman did it in the first half from the air as he was red hot again. And Knightstown just too strong, both on the ground and in the air for the Tri-High Titans this year. As we said, the series goes to 16 in favor of Knightstown and 14 in favor of Tri-High. And, of course, next year is a brand new year. This is kind of payback for the thumping that Knightstown took last season, 39-12. And Knightstown a big winner tonight, 28-7.
Coach Dennis Gipe has his troops right out in the field talking with them and letting them know exactly his feelings on the game. We can see him from here waving those arms and telling them exactly what he had expected out of them tonight and maybe what he didn't get or what he did get from them. On the other hand, the Knightstown players victorious, just having a wonderful time out there in the field with their coaching staff and the fans now clearing the field. And just been a great night for football here at Knightstown.
That's the most celebrating we've seen Knightstown do all season as far as the actual team. And this one's a big game, no doubt about it. They wanted to beat Tri, regardless of what the records were coming in. This was a huge game, and a lot of people, fan-wise, not team-wise or player-wise, but a lot of people, fan-wise, will say this is the season, this is the game. Well, that's not the case this season for the Knightstown Panthers. They have their eyes focused on a sectional championship. They've been denied the last two seasons, and they've lost to Milan both times. And this time, Knightstown is taking things one game at a time. They're walking before they run. They're doing everything right, and basically are playing good, basic football.
Well, the conditioning, I think, is really the key to this team, and the other key to this team is that coaching staff down there. I think with the acquisition of
Scott Stanley,
yeah. And those veteran coaches that he has. Don Willard really has the capability now of really leaning on that coaching staff and getting things done his way and not having to worry about so many things.
Well, I'm going to hear all about this come Monday because I teach with Scott Stanley, and Scott's going to be fired up and ready to go, and you can pretty much bet come Monday they're going to be back at the practice field just as though this was another game, even though we know it wasn't. They're going to take it as though it was another game, and Knightstown will go back to the matter at hand, which is preparing for next week's final home game. It will be senior night against LaPel, and it will be right here at the Knightstown Panther football field, and they will be looking to go 8-0 on the season.
Well, the Knightstown Panthers victorious here over the Tri-High Titans this evening. Coach Gipe still has his team out there on the field in that large huddle talking with them and letting them know exactly what he was expecting this evening and what did happen to them. And the Knightstown players leaving the field, a lot of these fans still in the stands here really caught up in the hype of this football game this evening.
Knightstown tonight was a winner, but Tri-High is definitely a fine football team. They are going to do very, very well in their sectional. As we said, they will be in the same sectional as Hagerstown, and they like to get another shot at Hagerstown, I'm sure, because Hagerstown is the only team to give Tri a loss before tonight's loss to Knightstown. And Tri-High, a very, very good football team. Very impressed with a lot of the plays, especially Clint Thompson. Some of the defenders on the other side of the football, such as Thad Wright, all over the field tonight, made numerous tackles for Tri-High. And he is going to be one that they are going to sorely miss to graduation and lose, of course, next year.
Well, they certainly are, and the Tri-High Titans never give up attitude. They kept playing, and we've seen a lot of teams this year when they have faced Knightstown into that third and fourth quarter just flat get down and then give it up. But Dennis Gipe not going to let that happen with his crew, and it didn't happen, and those guys played the great football that they're capable of playing, but just not able to contend this great conditioned Knightstown unit out here this evening.
Well, Coach Don Willard gets another win, put a W in the column. He'll just continue to add to that total. And who knows, Coach just continues to roll right along. This team, I think, has probably dedicated this season to Coach Willard. And they know the time he's put in. They know the love of the game that he has. They have picked that love of the game up, and that's obvious by the amount of hours and time that they have spent in the work as far as weight room, the conditioning. They ran when it was 95 and 100 degrees outside. And this was a team that said from day one, we are going to play football, and we're going to play it the Knightstown Panther way. And the man behind that, of course, is Coach Don Willard.
And the other thing, right on the field now at the 20-yard line down there, Willard and Gipe standing down there talking about the game this evening and just talking it over, finding out from each other what they thought of the situation. And, that's a good deal.
Well, this is one of the cleanest football games between these two teams that we have seen in many, many years. A lot of bad blood, a lot of bad rivalry, a lot of fans instigating a lot of this. But Knightstown has always had this thing about playing big on homecoming night, and they pull off a big one tonight, 28-7, and we are now very, very lucky to have in the press box with us Travis Rivers. We'll let him get situated here for just a minute. What do you say, big boy?
Hey, not much.
What a great game, huh?
Hey, yeah, it was awesome.
You guys came out, looked like both teams kind of like a heavyweight fight in the first quarter, maybe the second quarter. Both teams kind of testing one another. Then in the third quarter, it looked like you guys started to flex your muscles. Just kind of wore them down, didn't you?
Mm-hmm. We just started picking apart at their defense and found out what they were doing and how we could go against them and just started taking it to them.
From up here, it looked like they had a huge size advantage across the front line, but it looked like it was a standoff. You guys, and again, we've talked about this all season long, the excellent conditioning that you guys have had and have gone through really pays off when it comes down to stretch time like this, doesn't it?
Yeah, Monday we run. Well, every Monday we run, and we run quite a bit. And it's really paid off a bunch, and Coach has been on us all week that we have a bigger line to go against, and he just told us to stay low and go after him. And that's what we did, and it paid off.
You guys are... Go ahead.
Really, we've talked all year about the conditioning. When you guys went into the weight room early on the season, and it shows. It showed in last week's game, and it showed here tonight. About halfway through that first quarter, once you guys got settled down, I know you're nervous about playing dry. You got to be because it's that way every year. But once you got settled in and started playing, to me, and then especially you get in that second half, the conditioning really starts to show that you guys have got it.
It's just really paid off a bunch, and I'm glad Coach has been working us, and we all sat down after the minor loss last year and said, this isn't going to be like this coming year. We just really hit the weight room hard, and it's awesome out here.
Right? You guys are now 7-0. You get rid of one of your biggest nemesis on the schedule. It's not going to be a cakewalk the rest of the way. We've still got Lapel, which we've seen what's happened a couple of times at Lapel's expense. They will come up here and they will beat you. So it's not a game that you can take lightly, and we've talked about this from about the second game on. You guys have not looked past the upcoming opponent at any time this season that we can see. In years past, it's always, the try game, or whatever. But you guys take one game at a time. You want that game. When that one's done, it's business as it's supposed to be. Then we go on to the next game.
Yeah, that's how we've been working all year so far. And Coach told us tonight, he said, now we got this game over with. Now we got to start concentrating on Lapel. And that's how it's been week after week. Just go out and work on that team we're playing that week. And once the game's over, start going to the other team and look at their films and run their offenses, defense in practice. And
was this a really hard-hitting game across the line in the trenches? What's the hardest game that you think, as far as contact and hitting, that you guys have played this season?
I think it was Hagerstown.
Really?
Yeah, they came out ready to play, and we were just down in that first half, and it seems like we just got our stuff going in the second half and came out. And
that was a game that you guys almost lost. For 3 quarters, you guys weren't awake. In the fourth quarter, things woke up and started to go your way, and from that point on, you've never looked back, and it's been playing the good brand of Knightstown Panther football that we've come accustomed to seeing this season.
Yeah, it's just been fun out here. I love it.
Well, what do you think? Next week, Lapel, what do you know about them? We'll ask Coach Don Willard when he gets up here as well, but do you guys know anything about them, or has he even talked about Lapel yet?
We know that their both running backs are pretty good, and they're up to 15th in both polls now, and we just got to go out and concentrate and play Panther football.
Next week is senior night. It's going to be a very emotional night for a lot of Knightstown Panthers. I'm sure there's going to be a lot of people, as with yourself, that you're going to hate to see leave, but this is one of these things. The building program for Knightstown has always been so good. They're such a good feeder. We've seen you as you came up through the ranks, Ian Hayes, and on, and Knightstown thrives on having good talent, good young talent, to fall back on when we have the graduating class. It's a thing of life. We know it's going to happen, but we're always deep in talent. You got to give credit to the JV coaches, the 8th grade, the 9th grade, and all the coaches coming up through the ranks.
Yeah, they just start you out real young and get you in that weight room, and that helps a bunch. I mean, for all the little listeners out there, if you want to play football, you have to get in the weight room.
Let me ask you a question. I'm going to put you on the spot here, okay? I'm going to put you on the spot. Now, your uncle, Jesse McLeese, good friend of mine, I work with him.
Yeah.
I know he can bench press a truck, but I want to know, what can you bench press, big boy?
My max is 275 this year.
Get out of town. 275. That's impressive. That really is. Well, Uncle Jesse says no, but he's calling. He says 310.
310.
I think he's just trying to make me look better.
I think you look pretty darn good, my man. I'll tell you.
Well, listen, I'll tell you what. When you can bench press Jesse, well, you got it, then, baby.
Yeah.
Well, listen, anybody you want to say hi to before we cut you loose here?
I just want to say hi to all my family, and thanks for supporting me through freshman through now.
All right. Great game. This ride's not over either.
Oh, I know. We still got sectional drawings coming up this week, and first we got to look at Lapel, and like you said, week after week.
We got Lapel, then we got Eastern, then we'll worry about the sectionals. Wouldn't it be great to have a sectional final right here this time?
Oh, I'd love it. We've been away the last couple of years, and
bring it back home.
It's time to come home in it, buddy.
Oh, yeah.
All right, Travis. Great game tonight. Big win tonight. 28-7. Knightstown a big winner over Tri. We'll look for you next week against Lapel, and we'll keep this train ride rolling.
Okay, thanks.
Thanks for coming up, buddy.
Bye.
See you. All right, final once again, 28-7. We'll wait for Coach Willard to make his way up here, and he is besieged by riders out on the field, and I'm not sure he's going to make it. Lee, what do you think?
I don't know. He's talking away. I think he wants to come up and
talk.
talk.
He's waving at us, so I guess we'll keep it here. Jennifer and Dan, sit tight with us. We're going to run over tonight. We normally try to get done by 10 o'clock, but we're going to keep it here since it was homecoming and a big win for Knightstown. We're going to try to talk to the coach, and we'll make it short and sweet as possible. But once Coach gets on a roll like he's going to be on tonight, he's got to be on an emotional high. And if you look down here, there's still a lot of people milling around.
Yeah, they really are. They're really proud of this team, and rightfully so. You know, we keep saying it, but these guys are playing tough.
Well, Knightstown's got a lot to be proud of. Starts at the young age, moves all the way up, like Billy Gorman. What is he doing out there?
Yes. Somebody's got to be
living a dream,
yes,
vicariously living a football dream through others, I know.
He's sitting on the bench out there thinking, okay, Coach, I'm ready. I can run the 440.
Well, it looks like Coach has got sidetracked again by another. Well, I don't know. I might... yeah, here he comes. He saw it. He said, nope, got to go to see the radio guys.
He knows he's got to get up here.
He's coming up, but a great, great win for Knightstown tonight as they pull off one of the biggest victories of the season. And as we said, far from being over, as they will face LaPel right here at home next week. It's senior night, and a very emotional night for a lot of players, a lot of family, a lot of teachers and everything else that have seen these young men come up through grade school and then junior high and on and on. And Coach Willard always wanted to give credit and praise where it is deserved. And over the years, I bet you he can remember and name pretty much every kid he's had on his team.
We probably can. And, you know, it's just like Travis was talking about there. We asked him about what he knew about the LaPel team, and you can tell that they're not looking that far ahead because he knows that they've got a couple of running backs that are good. But outside of that, he didn't have much to say about them because all his concentration tonight was on this Tri-High bunch.
Well, that's the way it's been pretty much all season. We'll ask the big dog in a minute. First of all, congratulations, Coach.
Thank you. Nice game, buddy.
Oh, yeah, another one in the win column. You know, this is the first time all season, and I've been watching you with binoculars. I saw a smile about halfway through the fourth quarter. I saw you smile.
Yeah.
You don't see that too much during the game.
No, you don't have time to smile. You know, you got so many things going through your mind, and you know, you got offense and defense and everything that you got to be thinking about, and you know, you don't have time to even think about smiling sometimes. But you know, I thought the kids just came back and played really well in that second half, as we have all year, and and it just made a big difference.
I think we're in shape, Don. I think it's just flat conditioning. I mean, yeah, they're in shape. They just can take it to a team until they wear them down.
A lot of teams we've seen this season in the fourth quarter bending over, grabbing pants, and hanging on. And Knightstown looks almost as fresh in the fourth as they do in the first, and that's a credit to your conditioning program.
Well, I think you're right, and you know, we seem to get that second wind in that fourth quarter, and it's really been good to us all year, and you know, hopefully it'll stay that way. We just, you know, we told the kids at halftime that you know, we're a second half team, and we came out pretty much and showed that. I think we shot a good try team down, and you know, I think it's just a credit to our kids. They hit, they play hard for 48 minutes, and they don't give you anything. Anything you get, you earn. And you know, when these kids come off the field, they know they've been in a football game. You know, we know some of those kids. Seth Johnson, I was talking to him a while ago, and big old Seth, he said, Coach, he says, the best football team I ever played a game against. And you know, I think he didn't have to say that. And you know, it just makes you feel good that your kids are getting that kind of credit, and that they're playing hard the way they are.
Well, Coach, it looked like in the first quarter, or possibly even the second quarter, it looked like a couple of heavyweights back and forth, neither one wanting to give. But the play of Craig Ritchie tonight, I thought, was outstanding. Couple of passes that he laid his body out, as we've seen Ian Hayes do this season. Ritchie was a big difference in the first quarter from the pass, and with Eric Scheinman, again, playing very, very well. Second half, it seemed to be he went to the ground game. He didn't need to pass. Crawford and Johnson and even Ian Hayes starting to eat the ground game up a little bit, and finally got into full motion and busted a couple of long runs.
Yeah, it was just a combination of a lot of things. We're still getting that bugaboo of holding penalties at key times, but you know, we drove the ball right down their throats pretty good in that third quarter drive, and then we had that holding penalty, I think, on the other side of the field, and we're faced with, what was it, a 4th and 15, 18, something like that, and I think we hit Craig in the corner of the end zone again, so, and he makes a great catch. So, you know, the kids are executing. As long as you execute and do the things that you know how to do, play within yourself, good things happen. And you know, our conversion rate on third down and fourth downs has been really good the last 2 or 3, 4 ball games.
Did Eric come over there on that one play and say, hey, you know, I've lost a little yardage tonight, and I need to run the football to get back up into my rushing game?
No, I'll tell you what happened. That was short yardage, and the way their defense was set up, he came over and I said, Eric, does it look like you can run a sneak? You know, and I always have in the back of your mind that you can kind of sneak up on him on the sneak, and that good. And you know, when it just kind of opened up, they were